Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are watching us from. I'm your regular host on Connect with Comfort show. You are most welcome and we appreciate your joining us today. On this show, we aim to add value to people in business, enterprise, and personal growth. Each show is organized to feature guests who are subject matter experts that would help to throw more insight on the topic of the day. You are most welcome. One, as well as timely, and that is business or bust. At first glance, this topic might sound dramatic, perhaps even extreme, but for anyone who has ventured into the world of business or considered doing so, it captures the very real intention as well as between ambition and adversity, risk and reward, innovation and instability. The topic, business or bust, is a proactive one and very provocative as well. It invites exploration into viability, risk, which makes starting any sustaining and starting or sustaining a business a no small feat. For business has a path purpose, prosperity, and personal growth. For others, it has come with tough lessons, painful, painful pivots, or even closure. So when we ask business or bust, we are not asking about success or failure. We are really asking, what does it take to thrive in business today? When does persistence become wisdom? And when does it become denial? Is business really for you? Everyone is talking entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurship is not built for everyone. How do we navigate the fine line between visionary risk and reckless ambition? And ultimately, how do we build businesses that are not just profitable, but also resilient, ethical, and sustainable? Over the course of our discussion today, we'll hear insights, share experiences, and perhaps challenge a few assumptions. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur, a professional contemplating the leap, or simply curious about the realities behind the headlines, I invite you to listen actively and engage positively. Because if we're to be honest with ourselves, this journey is not for the faint-hearted, but with the right knowledge, support, and mindset, we can transform business or bust into business with purpose and grit. Once again, I welcome you to the show. Our guest is already in the house, waiting patiently for great insights on this topic. Please remain connected. We'll be right back after this time out. Thank you.
Being relevant in your field of occupation is proof that you are properly educated. When my parents and I were thinking about my university education, Bowen University evolved was our first choice. Bowen University helps you to get the most of whatever course you're studying and also educates you on how to excel in a competitive labor market. From the day I arrived here, I knew when I would graduate, and my mind has been positively transformed since then, thanks to my able lecturers. My name is Salumi. I am a medical student, a sanctuary keeper, and a violinist at Bowen University. To the medical world, remember my name.
Bowen University for excellence and godliness.
You are welcome back. Like I said earlier, our guest is in the house, patiently waiting. But before I bring her on, I would like to intimate you with our profile. Esohe Idehen is a seasoned organizational development consultant, human capacity development expert, certified business skills trainer, facilitator, and coach, dedicated to unlocking human potential and inspiring a positive paradigm shift for renowned global leadership. With almost a decade of experience in training, facilitation, and coaching, she has established herself as a trusted partner for individuals and organizations seeking growth and success. Our area of expertise borders around being USA certified, organizational development consultant, human capacity development consultant, this SOPAG certified business skill development trainer, facilitator and coach, certified life coach, gemstone stroke Fela Grotoye leadership coach, Nepal facilitator and coach in Amsterdam, master neuro linguistic programming practitioner and cognitive behavioral therapist and family life coach. Esther has facilitated training across various sectors, including private, public, and international organizations, and has worked with prominent organizations such as USAID, BZ, Ministry of Health, GIS, GOPA, Jobaman Nigeria, Voice Nigeria Limited, and a whole lot of others. Esther's vision is to inspire a positive paradigm shift for renowned global leadership by empowering youth, women, organizations to build, develop, and fully maximize their potential through training, coaching, therapy, and mentorship. She is the head coach and trainer at Gemfield Consults Limited and therapist at Sex and Family Systems Consult. She is highly skilled at helping people overcome their limiting belief, find their identity, build and regain their self-confidence, regardless of their emotional, psychological hurts and wounds. Esther is result-driven and is open to collaboration and partnership. Please join me in making welcome our special guest for today, Esther Idehen. Esther, can you hear me? It's like the network. It's like the network is really bad. Esther, can you hear me? Technical team, please. Can we ensure the guests can hear? Okay, in the meantime, while Esther is trying to join, we'll look at this topic together. Like I said, it's a very provocative topic. Is business right for everyone? Or is everyone equipped to do business? I know the buzzword these days is entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship. As good as it sounds and as nice as it is to have, is it for everyone? And that's why this topic, business or bust, is being examined today. In today's volatile economic climate, starting or running a business often feels like a make or break gamble. Those of us that have been in it for ages can testify to this. When we say business or bust, we mean is entrepreneurship a guaranteed path to financial independence or a risky venture prone to collapse? That's a question that is left for some of us to answer. And it depends on the push, it depends on the drive that you have that will help you to answer that question. In the first instance, when we decide to go on this path, surely we must consider flexibility, and we also look at it that is it a potential journey for wealth creation? Yes, the issue of autonomy might come in, being your own master, but is it a potential path for creating wealth for you or financial independence? The growing culture of being your own boss is fueled by social media success stories. Pandemic era also helps in the shift, leading to increased entrepreneurial activities, even by those who are not well prepared for the journey. When we look at the harsh reality that we have out there now, looking at statistics, percentage of startup that fails in the first to three, between the first 3 to 5 years, is quite a staggering number. Most times it's not because the desire is not there, but part of the common causes of business failure includes poor planning, lack of capital, misleading the markets, giving overconfidence, as well as other regulatory hurdles. For instance, in this part of the world, we understand it too well that a lot of hardship a lot of hardship is brought our ways because of various regulatory hurdles, as well as the hardship that is ongoing in the economy. For you to survive as entrepreneur or to have resilience in business, you must have a very strong value proposition. And the business you are going into, the product you want to offer, the services you want to render should have clear market needs. That is, there's a need for that business. You must also have sound financial management and planning. Then agility and adaptability in changing conditions, like some of the conditions we said earlier on that is bedeviling most businesses these days. Inflationary trend, skyrocketing costs, and things that are unexpected is affecting. Sorry for the back. So these are the things to look at. Then the critical questions that entrepreneurs should ask themselves. The critical questions should include: is the timing right? Do I have financial runway? That is a clear runway for you to take off. What problem am I solving? Please close the door. So sorry about the noise, background noise. Do I have the financial runway? Like I said, what problem am I solving? And for who? Why am I building something that others are already offering? Is what I'm building scalable? So those are the questions that we need to ask. Then when we look at some businesses, when they started, everything was going on well, their projection was right, and suddenly economic upheavals comes in, throws all the planning they had into the air. So those are the type of challenges typical entrepreneurs face. Then we look at the role of mentorship, networking, and advisory support. This means entrepreneurs should not go it alone. They should look for mentors to guide them. Then the importance of professional guidance, for instance, from accountants doing the putting up the figures together, the lawyer looking at the legal implications, and other mentors. These are very important factors that we need to really give concern to. Then we need to leverage ecosystem like incubators, chambers of commerce, or business associations that relates to the area of business that we are engaging in. Engaging in. So sorry, the area I'm doing. So we also look at pivot or persevere. Do we need to change? in different direction, different business, or we stick it out when we realize that the business is going tough? Do we need to change our business model? Do we need to change the business we are in altogether? That has happened to so many people that they have to change to a different line of business altogether. So all these are questions that we need to look at. Then, how do we measure our successes beyond the issue of profit? Are we meeting the need? Is there impact that we are making in the community, which can also give us that satisfaction that we are contributing? So we look at the job creation aspect. You are ministering to some families through that, and then taking some people off the job market. Are we also building a legacy, or we are just chasing time? So these are the things that we need to concern ourselves about. We will go on a very short break. Hopefully, our guest network would have been fixed, and then we'll be able to continue on this very important topic. So we'll go on a short break right.
I wanted to give up. I'm done with all the things I'm going through. I'm trying to keep my head up. I try to win, but every time I lose. Should be getting better. I try, but I don't know what to do. Hope this ain't forever. I just wanna make a breakthrough, but something inside said never give up. All of these setbacks are major setups. If I keep on fighting, if I keep on trying, if I aim for the sky, one day things will go my way. One day things will go my way. One day things will go my way. I've gotta hang in there. Deep down I know one day things will change. I can't live in fear. I know I've got to push through the pain. I've gotta believe in myself. Yeah. If it's not me, then no one else will. But something inside said never give up. All of these setbacks are major setups. If I keep on fighting, if I keep on trying, if I aim for the sky, one day things will go my way. One day things will go my way. One day things will go my way.
You are welcome back. Unfortunately, it's like our guest has not been able to sort out the problem with the network. We will just post along. At least some of the questions that we tend to pose, we probably will revisit this important topic again. But I can still make an attempt to offer some solution to some of the questions, being an entrepreneur myself. For instance, when we look at business or bust. We shouldn't look at it as if all hope is lost, that failure, when you have failure or setback in business, that all hope is lost. Failure isn't final. Many successful entrepreneurs failed several times before they tried. I know that may not be very sharing news for those that are finding problems in their business, but at the same time, it's something to bear in mind that true entrepreneurial mindset does not stop learning, adapting, and rise because they hope to rise again. We, so the issue of okay, thank God. I saw our guest just now, but it's like she's gone again. Let's talk about visibility and strategy. What factors determine whether a business will succeed or fail in its first 5 years? Like I've said from the introduction, having good financial planning, having good financial planning from the beginning, and feasibility studies is very, very key. And then the flexibility that the business has in adapting to changes also will make a lot of difference. So we also have the issue of mindset and motivation. What kind of mindset distinguishes successful entrepreneurs from those who give up? And that is the mindset of resilience. Okay, at last our guest is here. Even I missed a lot of background noise. She's done it. Okay, I guess this session we have to be. I'm really sorry the way this one turned out. We have background noise, we have challenge with network. So at this point in time, I think, okay, are you on now, Esther?
Hello, can you hear me, ma?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank God.
Oh, wow. Thank God. Good evening,
Uh,
everybody. Good evening, ma.
Good evening. Maybe we just quickly go on and the bits we are able to attend to in this some of these questions we take, and hopefully we may have to have a repeat of this session because it's a very important topic that we believe will be able to help some people that are in dilemma in business and perhaps trying to make up their mind either to stay in true or call it quits. So we have a issue. Let's start from the beginning. I've given some explanation of what business of bust is, but in your own words, what does business of bust imply about current state of entrepreneurship?
Sorry, please, ma, your question again.
Okay, what does business of bust imply about the current state of entrepreneurship?
No, okay, so thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry for the network glitch, even though I could hear everything. Right? So if you ask me, I'll say our host has said a whole lot about that, right? So when you hear the word business or boss, right? In today's current world, somehow everyone, I'm just going to pick up from some of the things she said because, like I said, she's mentioned everything, and so I'm just going to reiterate and probably just throw more light to some of the things she's already mentioned. Yeah, so it's not new word that today the word entrepreneurship is now the buzzword. I mean, it's everywhere. But the question is actually, are we all meant to be entrepreneurs, right? Is it that some of us could have just been, so I'm talking with some of my clients, some of my coaches, and I say to them, do you know that everyone, you know, people do business, but everybody who does business are not entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurs are way far deeper than just business people, right? So whilst it looks like everybody can go into business, which you're just looking at from the angle of being able to buy and being able to sell, right? I bought this thing for 5 naira, I'm selling it for 6 naira, so I'm making a profit of 1 naira, right? That's the general concept of a person being in business. But when you want to now shift to the place of looking at this person as an entrepreneur, you want to now see a whole lot of other attributes that goes deeper, right? And so if you really want to make it in the world of as a trader, as a business person, you need to shift your mindset, right? I heard as a host talking already about the mindset. What's the mindset you're bringing in to the world of entrepreneurship, right? But before I go there, the topic in itself is a very exciting one: business or bust. You either choose to go into business, or my people, you just chat you, or you get, the word bust has a whole lot of connotation. You can get busted, you can get yourself roasted in the process, or you could just chill and just leave the scene and just maybe become a self-employed person, which is also not a bad idea anyways, right? So that's what comes to my head for the topic. But then I was talking about moving beyond just being a business person into the world of entrepreneurship, because that's where the real deal is. Are you an entrepreneur? Do you even have the qualities of being an entrepreneur? You just hear people say entrepreneurship, and then you just tell yourself, okay, you know what? I think I can buy this thing for 5 naira, like I said earlier, and I can sell it for 6 naira. And then in your mind, you're an entrepreneur, but it goes way beyond that. The question is, what problem are you solving, right? Because in the world of entrepreneur, even if you want to use the word now interchangeably, business or entrepreneurship, so I'm going to be using them interchangeably now, right? When you think of being an entrepreneur, you're looking at solving a problem for people, either at an individual level, or at a communal level, or at a national level, or at an organizational level, right? So every time you think about being an entrepreneur, you should be a person who is thinking about bringing value to people. And like I always like to say, who is an entrepreneur? What's entrepreneurship? Is the art of being able to identify a problem, solve that problem, or let's go one by one. Identify a problem, create a solution for that problem, take all the risk involved in bringing that solution to reality, and then take the reward for that problem that you solved. As simple as that. But by the time you look at all of these things I've said, are you that person? Are you able to do that? But if you're not able to do that, or you don't even understand why you should be doing that, then I'm sorry. I don't think you should be considering, delving into the world of entrepreneurship. So I don't know if I've answered that, or if there are other questions, or I could just go on with the topic. Which of them? I can't hear you, ma. Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, my mic was muted because of the background noise. Sorry. Now, how do you see, how do successful entrepreneur prepare for uncertainty and volatility
Okay,
in the
so
business?
okay, all right. So as an entrepreneur, one of the things you must always foresee is, one characteristics you must have first off as an entrepreneur is your ability to be flexible, and then your ability to be agile. That means you're open to learning, you're able to look forward. One thing we see with some entrepreneurs, right, is that they get so buried in the now that they are not looking at the future, right? There is always a trend. And as an entrepreneur, you should be involved in knowing the trends. You should be involved in knowing the regulations that are binding the society where your business is, dominant, right? So if you're not aware of all of this, it looks like certain things just come on you, you know, accidentally. But if you had put your ears to the ground, you probably would have already begun to hear bits and bits about these changes that are about to happen, and now be able to position your business in such a way that you can either mitigate this, or you can either begin to look for what's the best way. Is there an exit strategy for this? Can my business withstand this? Is this something that we can go into? You begin to put strategies in place, right? Because you must understand that, especially if you're dealing in Nigeria, right? We are people that it is not just the government that controls the economy. Individuals also do. And even when the governments do, we have an economy where, God bless our country, where things just come and go. So you need to be prepared. You need to put your ears to the ground. You need to see the trends. You need to begin to position your business in line with recent trends. You need to begin to understand the little things that could come against you, or that could bring about this volatility. And when you have these structures and regulations on ground, when there is this sudden inflation, your business is able to withstand that sudden shock and still be able to find its balance. Why? Because you were abreast, or because you have systems in place that can help you. And another thing you must really, really consider being able to move through the volatility of markets as an entrepreneur is that you must be open to learning, and you must have mentors, people you can run up to at any time, people who can advise you, right? Genuinely, not people who are advising you from their house, that have never been involved in what they're telling you to do, right? So you must ensure that you have mentors. You must ensure that you have systems and structures in place. You must be abreast with trends. You must be open to new learning, and you must be flexible. If you have these characteristics, to a large extent, you must have been able to, prepare yourself for the volatility or fluctuations of the market as an entrepreneur.
Thank you very much. So what would you say is the strategic steps that can transform a bust into a breakthrough? Because nobody wants the business to go down anyway. So what are those strategic steps that can take us from going into extinction to breakthrough?
All right. So as a business person, some of the steps you must have in place. Now, permit me to say here that this may not, these are my opinion, and these are some things I know that I've worked with my coaches with, that I know work, right? But I'm going to say something here. One thing that every business must have is, along with your strategic plan, you must have your exit plan on ground, right? So you could be at that point where, at the bust of the business, your way out, the strategic step for you at that point may be to exit, right? Either you want to sell, either you want to bring somebody else on board who can handle or who can navigate the ship of your business through that storm, right? Now, what are the strategic steps, or some other strategic steps you have to have in place? The first thing is that your business must have a plan. And when I'm talking about a plan, I'm not talking about the numbers you just put. You must have a strategic plan, which is the roadmap for that business, right? And in that strategic plan, you must have, don't just speak big grammar, like you just give to somebody and then they speak English, and then this grammar that is in your plan is not translated into actionable steps that you can use to measure and, ask yourself if your business is on point, right? And the reason why most businesses get to this point of busting, like you said, Ma, is because they don't even have a map. So they don't even know when they are going off the tangent, right? They don't have something to even measure themselves to say, okay, we are on point. 6 months, we are supposed to have been here. Oh, we are not here in 6 months. Let's pause. What's happening? Let's reevaluate. They just keep going and going and going until they are at that point where, you know what, it's almost almost impossible to save the day, right? So have your strategic plans in place. From time to time, have your periodic review to know exactly where you are in the scheme of things. Is your business going according to plan? Why am I emphasizing on the strategic plan? It's because sometimes it's beyond the numbers, right? Beyond the numbers for you. You have a direction where you want this business to go. And you must be able to look from time to time to know if you are still steering the business in that direction, or the business is the one taking you to its own direction. So by the time you have your strategic plans in place, broken down into actionable steps, and then you do your review from time to time, and an honest review. Yes, because I've had to carry out assessment for organizations that the numbers, even what they are seeing, is showing them that you are off the tangent. But they are in self-denial telling you, people still they come now. But it's not about just people still they come. Is that where you say you wanted to be going to? Right? So have your strategic plans in place, broken down into actionable steps. If you want to review 6 months, yearly, quarterly, go ahead and do that. Ensure that there's somebody who is more experienced than you, more advanced than you, in the end of affair of your business as well. A person you can always run to. I've talked about the place of mentorship as well, right? So these, could be some of the strategic plans that you can have in place to be able to avoid your business completely going out of extinction. And another thing you must do is you must not be shameless. Yes. So I was somewhere yesterday talking to business people, and somebody said, I cannot be begging people moving from one door to the other. And a senior colleague of mine that was there said, you know what? If you're a business person, you will remove that shame and not that you will go to people and beg. And what are we calling begging? Put proposals, bring proposals to the table and ask questions. So you cannot be an entrepreneur and say, you know what, I don't have a network. I don't have people. I'm proud. I'm trying to maintain my skills and composure. My dear, you aren't ready. So these are some strategic plans that you must have in place to be able to, avoid your business from going into extinction or from busting, in the word of our hosts. I think you're
Thank you very much. So, can I then ask a question? Is this what we call entrepreneurship being over glorified as the only path to success?
Is it over glorified as the only path to success? So, I think my answer will be both yes and no, right? I would say yes, in the sense that the audience or the person gets to understand entrepreneurship from a standpoint of solving problems, from a standpoint of understanding that money, which is a currency that you're looking for, is being exchanged for value. Right? So when you understand entrepreneurship from that standpoint, you would even realize that even though you feel like, you will now see yourself at every almost time T, as an entrepreneur. Because even if you are employed, you must understand that the organization that is employing you because they have a problem that they think that your expertise can solve for them, right? Now, my answer to that question is yes, if you understand entrepreneurship from this angle. And no, if you do not understand that, at the core of entrepreneurship is problem solving. Right? So if you don't see yourself that way and you feel like, all of us don't have to do business. So no, from the angle, if you're a person who sees entrepreneurship as just strictly doing business, we all will not just succeed from doing business. Some of us don't have to be in business, right, to succeed. Right? Some of us may be employed. Some of us may have to work for people, right? So I hope we get the distinction, right? I've said yes or no from two different angles based on the understanding of, the audience and the people who are asking. I think you're muted, Ma.
Thank you. Yeah, I've unmuted myself. Can failure in business be reframed as a step towards eventual success?
Can failure in business be rephrased? Yes, as a step to success. Not just in business, generally, any failure you encounter can be a step to success, but it all depends on your mindset. It all depends on your belief. It all depends on what you see. Because every success you celebrate today, it's a continuous, repetition from a person who has once failed and did not stay down. So if a person fails or if a business fails, and then the person who is the owner of that business choose to go down with the business, so you lost yourself completely in that failure, right? I have a mentor who would always say, it failed, you did not fail, right? So if you think that the business is what failed, yes, you can pick yourself again and see the lessons that you have learned, and then I know what not to do all the time. But if the business fail and then your mind, because of your belief, your mindset, you think that you are the one who has failed, then I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't know how you're able to come back, because failure in itself is learning in disguise, right? By the time you're able to evaluate your failure, quote unquote, evaluate it. So my emphasis is always on the fact that there's an experience that was not exciting, and then you're able to sit back and evaluate it and pick the lessons, right? And then be honest with yourself. What could I have done better? What did I not do right? And then you pick those lessons, and then you come back again, and then you're able to apply those lessons. Definitely failure at that point now becomes a stepping, stone to success, right? The guy who made like said, I did not fail, I think 1,000 times. He said, I just know 1,000 things that would not generate electricity if it's been done, right? So that's the mindset. It's what you believe. It's how you choose to see failure that would help you to know if you're able to rephrase it to become a success or a failure that you cannot pick yourself from.
Thank you very much. What are the most common reasons businesses bust, and what can be learned from them?
Okay, some common reasons why I would say businesses bust. It's because like you mentioned at the beginning, you talked about the fact that sometimes people do not even know the regulations, governing their businesses. You do not even know. Now, when you get into business, especially in this part in Nigeria, you must realize that there is the formal and the informal aspect of the business, and you must get ready to learn both of them. It's not just enough to say I've done all the legal compliance and all of that. Nigeria seems to have a very informal business structure, right? That you as a business person, as an entrepreneur, must begin to get used to, right? If you're in Lagos, you're trading market, you have did everything, you begin to see that these people you cut out, the Agberus, it's an informal system. You have to learn how to deal with them. So understand your formal compliances and your informal compliances. A student of mine likes to say, be streetwise as well. That's one, if you do not know that. Number two, what's the word now? Lack of plan, lack. How do I put this now? When you're running a business from a place of, you're not clear on what you're doing, right? You just say, there's an entrepreneur there and I'm not ready to answer to anybody, so I'm going to start a business. I'm trying to use the most simple language and not going so technical in all of this, right? So from a place of, you're not disciplined, right? So you think that being the owner of your business is your escape route. So when we have people who are not disciplined running businesses, yes, that can be a challenge. Number two, you're not flexible. You're not flexible in your mind. This is how we have been doing it since generation come. Times are changing. You are a consultant. There is AI now. You say no, that you're not going to adopt it. You're just going to stay. So if you're not able to be flexible as a business person, it's a problem for the business, right? Sooner or later, it's just going to be outdated. The numbers may still become, but you just realize that people have moved on. They're no longer there for you. That's another reason. Another reason could be, yes, lack of funds. Genuinely, you have to scale now. The business has to move to the next level, but funds are not available and you do not even know how to access them. That could also be a problem that could lead to, the busting of a business. Your inability to be compliant, right? Or to even formalize the business could be a problem why the business will not be able to move to one point to the other. I'm not talking about, I've not even entered into the topic of leadership, your management, your team. All of those things are also very important. Who are those running the business? Who are the partners in the business? How do you even attend to your customers? What's your people's users experience? When people meet your business, when they leave there, how do they feel? Right? Because business thrives on turnover. And are you the kind of person that said, when I one person come, Jeremy, may they go. If you like, I don't care. Are you that kind of person? But if that's what you do, these are some reasons: lack of proper customer satisfaction, lack of being truthful. All of these are are things that could affect a business. Either they stop it from growing or they completely, bring the business to a bust, right? No plan, no vision, no direction. All of these are, little things here and there that we sometimes overlook, away from the real issues that come to our head, like leadership, compliance, strategy, and all of those things. Yeah. So these are some things that, could mess up with a business or could make a business bust if they are not taken care of.
Thank you very much. What will be your part?
I, I can't hear you, Ma.
What will be your party shot on this first part of the show? Because we have a lot contending with the show today. The noise in the neighborhood and where we started. So what will be the party shot? We will definitely have a part two to this particular topic because it's for me very important.
Okay. So if
So
I'm
what
going
will
to
be your
have a
party
part.
shot?
Okay, so for me, I'm just going to say, what, for everybody who intends to really go into business and who really wants to succeed at the things you're doing or at the business that you're doing, you must understand. So if there's anything I want our audience to take away from this place today is understand that entrepreneurship, okay, I'm going to use the word business, like I said, we're using it interchangeably, is that business thrives on the ability of, on the value that it brings to the people. So every time you're thinking about business, think about the values bringing to the people. And what's this value? Think about the problem of the people you're serving and ensure that the solution you're bringing to them is in line with the problem that they have. And that's the way they can part with their own money, right? Which we like to refer to as the reward that you get for being in business or for being in entrepreneurship. So just to understand that when you think about business, you're thinking about problem solving or bringing value to people. And so that's the circle that helps you to make money or even more money as you run your business. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate you. Despite the challenges, I'm sure we have gained some insights on this topic. And like I said, we will have to repeat this again because so many contending factors. It's just like what we were talking about. In business, you plan it to go one way, another thing happens. And not be
Yeah.
lying. I didn't know we would have a neighbor having party, for instance our studio, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Yes.
So that goes on. So I appreciate you highly, Esther, for coming up and for sharing this great insight with our viewers today. And we appreciate all those that have joined us in the course of the program. Femi Jaye Simi from Lagos, Taiwo Ojo from Abuja. I've seen you joining. Thank you very much for following through. As we have learned from our guests that either you are starting business or you are already in business, the issue of being resilient is not something we can compromise in our journey, entrepreneurship journey. So we just have to give it all it takes. We have to make sure that we have the wisdom to do what we need to do, when to pivot when it becomes necessary, and then to change course if it becomes necessary. And then the important thing is that we should not embrace failure. Failure is not the last destination. It may sound ironic, but you can turn things around. So we have been made to understand all that. So thank you very much for joining us today on this show. So whether you, like I said, whether you are just considering going into business or you're already in business, find your support group or support others if you are already in that business so that you can work together, you can collaborate together, have renewed insights, inspiration, clarity, all those things that may help your next steps for fulfillment of purpose. So that is what we pray for. So I want to end the show by saying, as usual, continue to follow us. The Instagram account is there at Comfort Eyitayo, and Facebook at Comfort Eyitayo. Till I come your way again, let's continue to build a future where business does not mean bust, but boldness, balance, and breakthrough. And I pray we all break through in all our endeavors by the grace of God. Thank you once again. And I'm very sorry for the mix up on this show today, the background noise and all that. It cannot be helped. That's part of life, and that is part of how we
You're
get going
resilient.
as business entrepreneurs. Sometimes life happens and it throws spanners into the works for us. But hey, at least some people have benefited one way or the other, no matter how little, in today's show, and that's satisfaction for us. Thank you very much, Esther. I'm very happy and grateful to you for the time spent. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much,
God
Ma, for
bless.
having me.
Thank you.
Entirely my